Is your heart racing? Are your hands shaking? It's courage in the making. The stage is yours for the taking. I've been waiting in the shadows, holding back what I should say. Got a fire inside my chest now, but I push the flame away. Every step felt like a mountain, every word got lost in doubt. Still a voice inside kept calling, this is what your life's about. Do you feel it in your soul? Something bigger than the fear. I was waiting in the shadows, now I know the light is here. It's time to step up, it's time to speak up. And when I scale up, I can change my world, your world, the whole world. Let's blow up the stage, light a fire in the crowd. Feel my words ignite, and I'll make myself proud, proud. Oh, proud. Oh. Some will say it's time to rise now, from the hiding in my head, from the voice that keeps on whispering it's for someone else instead. But I'm done with playing smaller, done with waiting to be saved. I was born to move a heartbeat. Oh, I am strong and I am brave. I can feel it in my soul. What I carry matters now, even if my voice is shaking. I will say the words out loud. It's time to step up, it's time to speak up. And when I scale up, I can change my world, your world, the whole world. Let's blow up the stage, light a fire in the crowd. Feel my words ignite, and I'll make myself proud, proud, proud. Not perfect, just honest, not fearless, just true. One story can open a completely different view. Trust the process, trust your voice. This is your moment, this is your choice. It's time to step up, it's time to speak up. And when I scale up, I can change my world, your world, the whole world. Let's blow up the stage, light a fire in the crowd. Feel our words ignite and make ourselves so proud, proud, proud. Light a fire in the crowd. Speak it loud, loud, loud. Time to make the choice to let the world hear my voice.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, and welcome to the Transformational Speakers Summit. And we have got a very, very special lineup for you today. I see all of you guys in the chat. Thank you so much for showing up and stepping up and showing out. So I love the new song, fantastic. Yeah, we love it. Me and Carolyn have been dancing with our hands in the air in the back, yelling out all the lyrics. It's so empowering, and it speaks to the journey that we all go on within the Public Speaking Academy. And our speaker today is certainly no stranger to that. She has been through this process herself, and she was belting out the words. So I see you guys. So who have we got in the house today? We usually have a global audience. So I want to know, where are you guys from? I saw we got Dennis from Portugal here. Who else do we have? Where are you guys from at the moment? I think we have the US, certainly. Caroline's from Texas. I'm from England. Who else we got? Chuck, I know, is in Amsterdam. So what else? Who else do we have? Nicole, where are you today? You are in Stuttgart in Germany, we got Texas, we got the Netherlands. Absolutely amazing. And we are so happy to see you guys because you are not just an audience. You guys are a part of this transformation. And so we really want to encourage you to play full out because this isn't just a speaking event. This is transformation in action. And those of you who've been through the Speaking Academy will know that Carolyn's journey over the last 8 weeks has taken her from one level to the next level. Because as speakers, whether you're new to speaking or whether you're an experienced speaker, there is always another level. And Carolyn has been building the muscle to share with courage, with confidence, with authenticity, and with power. So she needs to feel your energy. So I see you guys in the chat and you've been doing an amazing job, but I want to remind you how you can get the most out of today's speaking event. So how can you make the experience easy for yourself? Well, the best way is to take notes as you listen, because it isn't just what our speakers say, it's how they say it. So I want you to think about, notice how Carolyn opens her talk. What transitions does she use? How does she create emotion? Because in these summits, you are learning both content and craft. Second question, how can you make it fun for yourself? Well, public speaking is fun and we can make it fun. How do we make it fun? Well, we engage. If Carolyn asks for engagement in the chat, drop a yes in the chat. If you hear her say something and you think, that is so inspiring, I want to remember that, drop it in the chat so everyone else in the audience, maybe they didn't hear it, maybe they were writing something down, share your insights in the chat, because the more you give, the more you get. A bit like life, would you agree? And when you write it down, you invite it, and you can remember to use it in your own talk as well when you are on this very stage yourself. And finally, how can you make it impactful for yourself? Well, maybe that's about sharing your experience with a friend. Maybe you want to live stream this. Maybe you want to share the link after the event with somebody who needs to hear one of the messages that you got today. Or maybe you want to write a post on your social medias to remind people that you're a speaker yourself, or maybe a speaker in training. So don't just absorb it, engage with us today, because we all rise together when we all engage together. So we're going to kick off today with Carolyn. And as you guys probably know, this is not her first speaking summit. In fact, she has already spoken twice, but the energy in the backstage area is completely different today. I see a very, very different Carolyn today than the one who did her first engagement those few months ago, because she's really lent into this journey and she has really integrated this into all areas of her life. And I can feel now her presence with this level of speaking that she's got to. So Carolyn's our only speaker today. So we got a little bit of a special surprise afterwards. We're going to be doing a little bit of a podcast to follow on, learning a little bit more than we can possibly learn in a 12-minute keynote presentation. So Carolyn is the founder of the Forever Young LLC. And Carolyn has had so many exciting careers. I just had to write them all down a list. So she has been a dentist, she's been a professor, she's been a researcher, she's been an explorer, she's been an adventurist, even a Secret Service liaison officer. Check that out. She's been a restaurateur, she's been a sommelier, and now she's a speaker and presenter. And that clinical and research background has led Carolyn to explore health at a completely different level to most people so that she can help midlife women to reclaim their second act. So I want you to help me welcome to the stage the incredible Dr. Carolyn Hatton with her talk, which is entitled, Your Beliefs Are Battling Your Biology. Please take it away, Carolyn. Stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Luke. Wow. What an introduction. Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming. What if something you believe about your body isn't actually true? I remember standing in front of a mirror one day and something felt off. It wasn't my reflection. It was the realization that I had been moving away from myself for a very long time. Smiling when I really wasn't okay. Pushing when I was exhausted. And ignoring what my body had been trying to tell me. And I wondered how many of us are living like that. Functioning just enough that nobody notices you are slowly leaving yourself. And I noticed something profound. When people believe they are declining, they often begin to follow that belief. They shrink physically. Their energy fades. Their voice becomes quieter. But when possibility returns, even if it's just a little, their posture shifts first. Then their breath, and then their presence. Before anything changes on the outside, something must change on the inside. I was trained in medicine, in biology, physiology, pharmacology, and data. And I remain fascinated by the powerful connection between belief and biology. How our thoughts shape our chemistry. How our stories influence our health. And how what we expect often becomes what we experience. So let me ask you, what is one belief you now realize that has been shaping you? I really just recently got a notice that Aspen is celebrating one of my friends from years ago, Klaus Obermeyer. And they're celebrating, the whole town is celebrating his 106th birthday in the summer. And he still skis every day during the season. In the summer, Klaus drove an antique Jaguar convertible. And when you were walking down the street, and if he passed you, he would yodel. He tried to teach me one time, but I couldn't. He would yodel. So cool. So cool. The man is so full of life. That reminded me of years ago when I was practicing in Aspen. I skied every winter weekend with the boys. They were all about, I'd say 30 years older than me. And of course, exceptional skiers. One day, a friend of theirs joined us, and he asked if he could follow me down the mountain. He said, I could hear my skis in the snow, and he knew exactly when I planted my pole and began each turn. He could hear that. So he followed me that day, run after run, just seconds behind me. And what struck me wasn't only his skill, it was what he made possible, because he was blind. And at 90 years, he was still fully alive, still in it, still doing what he loved and what was still possible. He just made it so. My dearest friend from those days lives in a retirement community in Napa. Selma will turn 99 in a few weeks. She is tiny and mighty and pure dynamite. Recently, I heard that she attended an improv show in San Francisco and was introduced to the director. Of course she was. That's Selma. Well, during their conversation, he was so taken by her wit, her energy, her spirit, and her personality that he actually invited her to join the troupe. Of course he did. It's Selma. Today, Selma is the star of his improv productions. And she has fans, lots of fans. Selma, if you're listening, I want to be just like you when I grow up. And I bet I will. You are my hero. Those stories became living proof that age does not define us. That many of the limits we accept were learned, not inherited, not inevitable, learned. And it made me question, what else are we believing that simply isn't true? So I come back to the mirror, not with judgment, with truth. First of all, a little quiz. Can you guess my age? Whatever you think, put it in the chat, please. I'll wait a few seconds. The truth is, I'm 79. And yes, that often surprises people. But the truth is, I don't experience myself through that number, ever. I just don't. We rarely see people as they are. Instead, we see the story we've already decided about them. So let me ask you, wrote the story you believe about your body and your future. And if you didn't write it, why are you living it? Maybe this is the moment you don't fix your life. You return to it, still choosing, still feeling, still becoming. Nothing in you is finished. Nothing. Not your energy, not your story, not your future. Maybe this is your moment to begin again. If something in you is resonating with this, I'd like to offer you a next step. I'm offering a small number of complimentary 45-minute conversations, a place to step out of the noise and gently explore what's been shaping your beliefs, your choices, and your next chapter. This is not about fixing anything. It's about seeing clearly what may be ready to shift. And if that quietly feels like a yes to you, simply send me a text that Luke's included. And we'll find a time that feels right. I would be honored to meet you there.
Oh my goodness, Carolyn, what a performance. Ooh, you were so composed. How did that feel for you?
Good, really good.
Yeah,
really good.
Really, really, really good. Absolutely amazing. Carolyn, there was so much going on in the chat. People were just loving it. They were writing down some of your quotes. It was incredible. You're just going to have to go back and take a look at it afterwards.
Wow.
I love your presence. I loved your energy and the stories that you told. So I'm curious for the audience. I mean, there was a lot being taken in. What's your biggest aha from what Carolyn shared today? Just drop it in the chat so that Carolyn can take a look at that. Look at this. Like, there's so much love here. Bravo. Love it. Well done. Awesome. Yeah. And some people were thinking you were 35, 50, 60. I think that was a big shock for people when you did that big reveal, Carolyn.
Thank you.
Oh, you are absolutely welcome. It was age doesn't define us. We've got so much there. And Carolyn, you're our only speaker today. And I think that is amazing because you absolutely blew the stage wide open. I think you're the perfect example. Let's blow up the stage. And you did that here today. So I think that a lot of people in the audience are sitting with the same thought right now. I want more. Like, this lady has so many careers. Like, how on earth did she pack so much into what is an extended life, far more than we thought? But how did it go about? So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little podcast to close things out today. And the reason is because podcasting is so present everywhere today. Everyone is setting up a podcast, and it is one of the simplest and easiest ways that a speaker can find a stage. People are always looking for people to be on a podcast. But when we are experienced speakers, we show up in a different way on a podcast, just like we would show up on a stage. We know how to help the presenter. We know how to manage our timing, and we know how to be concise. And I want to put that to the test with you today, Dr. Carolyn. So if it's okay with you, I'm going to ask you some questions, and we're going to do a mini podcast right here with the intention that I want to inspire the audience to really see how influential and successful a podcast can be. If any of you are out there and you haven't been on a podcast yet, this is an example of how it can look and how you can bring your speaking professionalism and experience and wisdom into the podcasting environment. Would that be okay with you, Carolyn?
I love it. Bring it on.
Bring it on. So you have done so many things in your life. It's crazy. So was there ever a kind of particular moment where you realized, well, I'm just not meant to live one life?
Thank you, Luke. My life was a slow awakening, you would say. When I was a child, I loved books. I was kind of a nerdy kid, didn't really hang out with everybody. And so I had my own little world, and my world was books. I read a book a day in the summer. Every day I read a book. But books that was before television, that was before books were the world opened up to you. The possibilities opened up to you. You got to experience in a book other lands, other cultures, other people. And I was fascinated about what the world was out there. Absolutely fascinated. My imagination would just blow up with each book. And that's created the inspiration, the desire to create a life where I got to experience all the things I read in the books. I basically have done that.
Beautiful. I love that. And what I also noticed, and I'm sure all of our audience will as well, is the incredible amount of contrast in some of those careers that you found yourself in. You've been on the clinical side, in a structured scientific world, you've been a dentist, you've been in academia, you've been a professor, and then you've kind of lived this crazy life as well. You mentioned skiing a lot and, in advancing years, but also you were a Secret Service agent, you were an adventurous, what happened in between those two versions of you?
I have this rule. I don't say no to, my rule is don't say no right off the bat. Whatever comes at you and I don't say no. I will think about it. I will often even go into it and experiment with it or try it. You always can go no, but when you first hear of an idea or an adventure or something, you really don't know what it's about, but your imagination takes you and you can get scared about things or worried about things. It's public speaking. Let's bring that up. But you don't know until you go. So I always jumped in and I was cogent. There was like one thing in my life that I quit, but most things, everything added to my life. Nothing took away that I can remember, nothing. And everything that I met different people, I went to different places, I had different experiences, and everything is accumulation of who I am today. And you have to go out there. You have to be brave. You have to take chances, like public speaking. Oh, go here. This is just another one of those things that I've experienced all my life. And so I'm so used to doing that over 7 years that stop laughing at me, that it just becomes, I will get nervous, but I have such a belief system that things are going to turn out okay or better than okay because I've done so many of these scary things and they turn out. They just turn out. Maybe it's because I believe they're going to turn out.
I love it. I love it. And it reminds me of one of my favorite quotes from Dr. Wayne Dyer. Be open to everything and attached to nothing. And you just say no to no. I love that, Carolyn. That's absolutely fantastic. And what's amazing is when I listen to your journey, it doesn't feel random. Like there's a lot of diversity to it. But in some ways, there also feels like there's a deeper thread connecting everything together. So what's really been driving those choices all along?
Wow. Openness, curiosity, trust. I just go. I can change it, but I go. If something is brought to me, an opportunity, I think that's serendipitous. Why wouldn't I pay attention to that? Not everyone has those things come to them or offered to them, but it came to me. Maybe I should take another look at this. Maybe I should immerse myself. If it's really icky, which I have never, maybe one time I said I had one time, they're not icky. You make it icky because of your fear. You make it, but I take it on, and usually I find it's an amazing, beautiful journey that takes me one more step. I'm just always looking for the next adventure, the next thing I'm going to do. You know what? Y'all, I'm Texas, I can say y'all. That's actually the formula for staying young. That's actually, if I could sell that, that's what I'd sell.
I love it. My next question was going to be like, what is it after all these chapters in this journey that you really understand about staying forever young that maybe you didn't understand when you were younger? Do you think that's it, or is there something else?
No, I think I can go on a little bit. That it's just when you try something that you were worried about or anxious about, and you end up having a good experience, that goes into your brain. Then you try something else, good experience, it goes in your brain. I challenge each adventure that it's going to be great. I expect it to be great. That is when I expect it to. Something is going to come out of it. I'm going to meet an amazing person. I'm going to have an amazing adventure. I'm going to find out something about myself. I can add it to my resume of life. I call it my resume of life, and I work at it. It's a tome, and I work at it every day. So I look at the next thing. Today, what you and Lori did for me was the next chapter. It was.
I love it. I expect it to be good. There is so much just in that simple message. There are so many things we can focus on: fear, doubt, uncertainty, challenge, and they're all there, but so are the opportunities, the learning, the growth, the adventure. I love that you focus on all of the things that could go well instead of all of the things that could go wrong. So with such a life well lived and with so many adventures, how did you decide that this was the message that you were going to bring to stage?
Oh my God. I have to say the word. I'm 70. I don't like saying that word. And no, I'm different. But let me tell you, I've worked at it. I've paid attention as I was starting to age. I started, Klaus Obermeyer, 106. Selma, she's 99. She's a star. I was surrounded by people. I was fortunate I pay attention to the people around me and what they have, their vibe. What is a good vibe? Was a bad? Ooh, this one. Ooh. There's something here. Flutter, flutter, flutter. Ooh, let me go explore. So I pay attention to the vibe around me with people and places. And I'm very open to taking that in when I see it, just like the adventures. I take it in when I see it. And you start noticing that some people live a different life than some other people. And I became very interested in the people that seem to have longevity. And I know a bunch of them. And 106, 99, they're my friends. Huh. And I want to be just like them. They're my inspiration. And you can too. But it's a mindset. And you've got to do some things a little differently. The worst thing we do is the very worst thing we do is our self-talk. And you hear it, it's what I want to use. It's casual, it's repetitious, it's glib. I'm too old. Oh, I can't do that. Oh, that's too much for me. I don't want to hear that because that's the slide down. So I'm very, very careful of what I let in. I'm so more protected than the adventures. What I let into my mind and my brain, I'm very careful because those go in the brain and then you believe it and your brain just takes what you believe and creates you. Simple formula.
That's so true, isn't it? They say if you want to see your future, take a look at your 5 closest friends.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so people would do well to have people who have good longevity in their circle. So maybe if we all want to have a long, healthy life, we need to spend more time around you, Carolyn. That would be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that'd be great.
So if you want to spend more time with Carolyn, then she has her email in there. So just send her an email with the message connect, and she's going to give you one of those amazing 45-minute conversations. Finally, Carolyn, if someone is listening right now and they feel stuck in just one version of themselves, what advice would you give them?
Well, first they have to recognize that they're stuck. If you don't realize it, and if you don't acknowledge it, what's the point? So I think it's the hardest part is being honest with yourself and having honest discussion with yourself and admitting that you have barriers, that you've made maybe not great choices. And then you have to have a desire. You have to want to change. I know what my future looks like. It's Klaus. It's Selma. I know. But I've chosen wisely.
That's so true. The good book says, without a vision, the people perish. And we need a compelling vision in life if we want to be pulled towards our future instead of pushing ourselves towards it. Absolutely fantastic. I think that's so powerful, Carolyn. And I want to finish with something a little bit different because more and more speakers are being invited to podcasts. But also another great opportunity is to be a podcast host yourself. And I think you would be an amazing podcast host. So let's turn the tables, Carolyn. Let's imagine you're now the podcast host. You get to answer me questions. What's a couple of questions you would love to ask me? You be the host.
Oh my God, I get another opportunity that I've never done before. Oh, this is a big day. Luke, you've helped so many people step into their voice and onto the stage, and it's a pleasure to turn the microphone on you today. Many people may be meeting you for the first time. So now I like to spotlight you and your incredible energy and presence. And before you are a speaker and a coach that we know today, who were you?
Great question. Well, a little bit like you, I grew up as a nerd and I read a lot of books and I was fascinated and curious about everything. So, I love going to school, and the natural path for me here in the UK was to go to do what we call our A levels, to advanced study, or high school as it would be in the US, and then on to university to do my graduate studies. But, I was such a nerd and greedy. I didn't do just one degree, I did 2 degrees. So I spent a long time at university. Then when I got out of university, I started in software, actually. I started as a business analyst, and I continued to study, and I love marketing, which was one of my degrees. So I did a couple of postgrads. So a bit like you, I had that academic side of my career. And then I found myself in corporate, and I was really enjoying it, but I wasn't paying attention to my relationship. So I ended up going through a divorce, which is difficult, but a learning journey, and I learned a lot from it. I learned a lot about self-pity, Carolyn, let me tell you. And I spent a couple of years where I was licking my wounds far too much, spending time in the wrong places with the wrong people, and I lost connection with that love for that corporate, get to the top, become the CEO. And I started to ask different questions. And in that phase, I was very blessed to meet my wife, who kind of pulled me out from under my own ass, if you like, and reminded me of who I was really. And I reconnected with my love of personal development and helping people. Fast forward 5, 6, 7 years from there, I got made redundant, which was my biggest fear in life, because as somebody who got a degree and an education, and I've got all these qualifications, which makes me certain, because I'm definitely a good person because I've got these qualifications. And then all of a sudden, 20 years of career gone. But I realized in that moment, I could decide, a bit like you, this can be the best day of my life or the worst day of my life. Best day. I'm going to do what I always wanted to do, which is help people and become a coach. That was about 5 years ago, and the journey's been magnificent ever since. So that brings us to today.
Wow, I felt like you've been doing this forever. You're so good at it. Have anybody been into a session with him? It's like magic time. It is. Okay, number 2. What was that memorable turning point that changed everything for you? You might have mentioned it. Can you expand on that just a little bit, please?
Yeah, sure. So it was that moment where everything I thought was real in my world. I'd become a director of marketing. I had the 6-figure salary. I had the fast car. I'd just become a father for the first time. But I kind of knew something was missing. If anybody's ever been in a corporate job, and I know we've had people speak on this subject in the Public Speaking Academy, something's missing. Something's just not right. Like on paper, everything's there. All the success boxes ticked, but something missing. And I wanted to get out of that rat race, but I just didn't know how. And that gift that my boss gave me of what felt like taking everything away, when I got the phone call to say, your job's over, I didn't know what to do. It was pouring with rain. I just went out for a run, and I ran and I ran and I ran, getting soaked to the skin. And I started realizing who I was really. That was the moment for me, running along that canal towpath, soaked to the skin, free from all of these shackles, finally able to decide, I can decide what the future looks like. It doesn't have to be this path from university plus. And I decided I want to help business owners, and I wanted to use all of those skills and experience to actually help people instead of make profits for a big company. So that was the moment that everything changed, and I started saying yes to everything, just like you.
Similarities. I think a lot of us in this room have similarities, actually.
That's true.
We've had similar paths, actually. What do you know now that you wish everyone understood sooner? What do you know now that you wish every one of us would know sooner?
One thing?
How much time do we have?
I think the most important thing, and you and I talked about this before, Carolyn, when we were in the backstage, it's about being present. And what does that mean? It means looking at the world through the eyes and the lives of other people. being outside ourselves and thinking about how do we help, how do we contribute, how do we serve, how do we give rather than take. Because for me, fear and doubt and uncertainty comes from when I'm focused on myself, when I'm thinking about whether I'm going to do something perfectly, when I'm thinking about being judged and whether I'm doing it right and whether it's perfect. But when we look to the people we can help, when we look into the eyes, hearts, and souls of the audience in front of us, and we really focus on how we can help them, and we have a burning desire to serve others, all of that fear disappears. All of it evaporates. And if I'd known that 30 years ago, I think a lot of my life would have been very different. I was always avoiding the fear, the anxiety before I get up on stage. You know, when I was presenting in the corporate world, I was always nervous and anxious. I wanted to do a good job. I felt like I was always being judged. When we let go of that and we just focus on serving others, everything becomes easier.
That is true. That is so true. Can I ask you one more?
Of course.
Thank you. I heard a birdie talk about your next step. Would you share that with us? Because I think it's super cool. Where do you want to go from here? Yeah, where do you want to go from here? It's an open. It's not what I'm thinking, but it's an open loop. You go.
No, that's cool. I started speaking in earnest about 2 years ago when I met Laurie at a Tony Robbins event, and I didn't even think I want to be a public speaker. I enjoyed speaking. I had no idea that there was a career in it, that you could learn it. It was like you're either a speaker or you're not. I think that's a common misconception. Yeah. And when I met Laurie and I found out what she does and how she does it, I wanted to join up. And it's kind of like, wow, this is a big investment in time and in finances, but I really knew that I was called to do it. And I've learned so much, and I'm so blessed to have been invited to do a TEDx talk in June this year. And I always thought I'd love to do one day, but just by saying yes, by being open without attachment, I'm now in training for my TEDx talk in June, and I cannot wait to deliver it. I'm excited about it rather than feeling nervous. And I know that I have the best coach in the world in my corner. So I know that it's just going to be so enjoyable. But thank you for the question. I appreciate that, Carolyn.
I want that to be an inspiration and an aspiration. So I knew a little bit, but and you do have the best coach in the world. So hey, what?
We both do. And if you're in the Public Speaking Academy, you do too.
You do.
So Carolyn, I want to take a moment to acknowledge you, to just give you props, a round of applause. Let's all give Carolyn some love. She can feel it through the camera. Drop it in the chat. You know, thank you so much for what we've seen today, Carolyn, and for being such an amazing host and guest on the podcast. So as we bring it to a close now, I just want to invite everybody. I want to thank you, first of all, because the chat has been lighting up. And oh my God, look at this, Carolyn. I wasn't even paying attention to this. This is so beautiful. Thank you so much, guys. So many amazing comments. What's the one thing you've taken away from today, from everything that Carolyn shared, from the answers that she gave us so beautifully and eloquently? What's one thing that was the biggest, and what's one action that you're going to take? Because when we talk in a transformational way, it's not just about information, it's about transformation. So don't let today, the time you've invested in listening to Carolyn and myself, go to waste. Really think about what's your big insight and what's one small thing, or maybe even one big thing, that you are going to do today. Make the decision and do not leave the scene of that decision without taking action. Maybe it's emailing Carolyn. Maybe it's thinking, I'm going to say yes to the very next thing that comes my way that has an invitation, even if I'm scared. Or maybe it's, I'm going to focus on others before I focus on myself. What is it for you? We've got the power of belief. I expect it to be good. Thank you, Dennis. Wonderful to be in here. Say no to no. Thank you, Charlene. Be open to all opportunities. Take a brave step today. This is fantastic. I've had so much fun today, Caroline. I said to Caroline in the background, this is just going to be so much fun. And haven't we had a lot of fun? I hope you have too, out there in our beautiful audience. And we've really enjoyed it. And I think that, Caroline, you're amazing. I think that our audience is amazing. So just before we finish, if you're in a public speaking academy, then don't forget that we are now going to go into our usual Zoom room and we are going to have an absolute party talking about Caroline's incredible talk today and everything that we've shared and seen, the highs, the lows, and everything in between. And we're going to talk about what was absolutely fantastic. Such an amazing learning experience. My absolute favorite part of the academy. I hope it's yours too. So we'll see you in this room in a couple of minutes. But as always, let's finish off with remembering that you're amazing.
One day, we'll be looking back on this and we'll say, aren't you happy that we did it our way? Everyone we knew was saying no way, but we were never listening anyway. So don't be just standing in the doorway. Don't you know we gotta hit the highway? Darling, this is gonna be a good day. And I've gotta say that I'm not bad myself, but you're amazing. You're amazing. One day, I'll be looking back on this and I'll say, I'm so happy that you said you would stay. There were times I know that I was crazy, fraying at the edges and you saved me. I'm losing count of chances that you gave me. You're laughing at me dancing really badly and telling me the reasons why you'd gladly do it all again. Cause I'm not bad myself, but you're amazing. You're amazing. Oh, I'm not bad myself, but you're amazing. You're amazing. Well, hey, words can never adequately convey everything you're giving to me today. But holding you is better than a holiday, and leaving you I dread it like exam day. So at the risk of sounding kinda risque, everything to now has been the foreplay. Darling, I would follow you to Norway, or anywhere you want it. Cause I'm not bad myself, but you're amazing. You're amazing. Oh, I'm not bad myself, but you're amazing. You're amazing. But you're amazing.